Now we're recording. Hello, everyone. My name is Andres Diaz. Welcome to this official DC Plus talk. I know it's kind of weird because I already post two, well, DC Plus talk with the two Batman podcasts that I did for the DC and Marvel Plus talk channel, but that was with my other co-host. I want to gladly introduce my new and for affordable future, my host Chris. How you doing?
How are you, Andre? Thank you for having me. I appreciate having this discussion with you. Um, as
Yeah.
you as you know, I've grown more into DC ever since I played Injustice and Injustice 2. I love the
Yes.
story. I love the storylines with both those games. Preferably, I would say the first one is more. I would say I lean more towards the first one. Um, it was really good to see, Superman have, a dark side, and it kind of shows how, we try to uphold our moral values as best we can, but unfortunately, sometimes we go through circumstances where we abandon them um, we go through trauma like losing a loved one, because that's exactly what happened. I mean, Joker altered Superman's mind, and he thought he was fighting Darkseid, and it was actually Lois, and he pretty much beat Lois to death, with his altered mind, and he blamed himself, and he ended up turning the world into pretty much a police state, and
Yes.
unfortunately, he became exactly who he hated. So
Yes.
I just loved that story, and listening to the comics version of both stories, the way the narrator guided us through the storyline, love that too from a comic historian. uh, mm.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. It's really good. It's good that you listen to Common Story, and they're really good at recapping a lot of the storylines. I do like their recapping stuff. They're pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Well,
they the way, like, their voice, like their tone of voice when they narrate the story, they really get you hooked in.
yes. Yes, that's correct. And yeah, I'm so happy you got into DC. It's yeah, I mean, Injustice is a good way to. I think it was a good entry point for some people about DC. But yeah, so just a little context. What is our first official uh, topic of this discussion for our first journey into our DC Plus talk? Podcast for now. Is we're going to discuss mainly the film discussion and a little bit of the TV discussions. Of what's gonna happen after 2023, where we're going with now James Gunn and Peter Safran being our official, studio heads for the DC films moving forward.
Mhm.
We'll see how that goes, and then and we'll discuss a brief uh, how was DC back in 2022. So that's our main topic today. And so, yeah, because yeah, a lot has happened with DC last year and then entry this year.
Yeah, DC has gone through, a lot of interventions, and it's definitely frustrated, rightfully so, a lot of fans, such as myself. And it really took a hard turn when Joss Whedon's version of Justice League was released. It was really bad, and pretty much, Snyder's work on it was removed,
Yeah,
and although we gracefully, thankfully, we got to see his version of the film on HBO Max.
yeah,
Most likely, we most likely won't see, the Snyderverse come to pass. We
yeah,
got we did get a little bit of closure of storyboards that was released 2 years ago of what would have happened in Justice League 2 and 3.
mhm.
It was very dark, but it definitely would have been a heck of a story had it been released in theaters.
True, true. Yeah, I mean, oh my God, I think, trying to remember what was the, yeah, because the second part. could have released in 2019, and then I think the third part we didn't know when it was going to release, but it could easily release in 2022 if or
Yeah,
2021.
right, yeah. So as far as Justice League 2, Snyder had intended to have Darkseid conquer Earth, which start and first they were gonna have Darkseid kill Lois Lane with his Omega Beam, and
Yep.
he was gonna have the villains from DC like the one from Wonder Woman. I forgot her name, Doctor something.
That's
Um,
poison.
yes, her and Black Manta, King Orm, Lex Luthor, because they were gonna have a Justice League of their own,
Right.
along with Darkseid, and and the first one, it was teasing, the nightmare visions, Batman had when
Hmm.
Superman, became corrupted by Darkseid with the anti-life equation, and together, they pretty much laid waste to the entire planet. Um, and then the third one, and the mission was to undo that nightmare future.
Hmm.
Cyborg was going to create a cosmic treadmill in which the Flash would go back into the past to warn Batman about what was coming.
Right.
The problem was in Batman and Superman, the Flash arrived. He arrived too early.
Yes.
So in that scene where in that scene in Batman versus Superman where he's saying to Bruce, Lois is the key. You can tell by Bruce's facial expression he doesn't know what he's talking. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So it
Yeah.
wasn't until Justice League he sort of realized what was going on, and it's just sad we never got to see that come to fruition. I mean,
No.
who knows? Maybe one day we could, but with all of with another intervention going on at DC right now, I don't think we're going to see that in the foreseeable future.
No. And I think that's a good way to intersect our topics. I mean, like, I think with the notion of recasting the main players, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I mean, last year I think it felt like it was official end for the Snyderverse. I mean, after Henry Cavill got completely drop out as Superman, and we're getting a new one. So let's kind of start from there. What's your opinion on that? I mean, that was the last big news from December, I think. After the crazy um the crazy release statement of Wonder Woman 3 was not moving forward because Patton Jenkins is no longer directing that, and so like that really started to spawn out what was going to happen with DC with Peter Safran and James Gunn's whatever 10 or 8 year plan is going to be. So yeah, I mean like. I mean, no longer we're going to see Henry Cavill as Superman. And what's your opinion on that, Chris?
Definitely, definitely surprised and very I wouldn't even say disappointment. I would say frustrated. Um,
Mhm.
because turns out the old management didn't even want Henry Cavill back as Superman after Zack Snyder's Justice League version. And
Yeah,
then we get and then we see him again, and then we see him in that cameo appearance for Black Adam. And Dwayne
yeah,
Johnson had explained that he really fought for him for to return.
yeah,
And we had him, and you have this anti-hero who has powers, similar to I would say similar to Superman in a lot of ways, but yet you got the most important DC character in the entire universe sitting on the sidelines. So we
yeah,
see him in the cameo, and of course, fans are hopeful, and we're excited to see him again. It's been because it had been so long, and now James Gunn, he's like, oh no, I want to go with the younger version of the character, so Henry Cavill will no longer be playing him. It's like, are you serious? You
Yeah.
know, I felt, I not only felt frustrated for, the both of us, I really felt frustrated for, hardcore, DC fans.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. I mean, it's incredible sad not to see Hank Cavill return. I wasn't happy to have it yet another reboot, but luckily James Gunn announced it's not going to be an origin story again, which is good. But
mhm.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know who's going to be the next Superman. I mean, like I think there was so much potential with Henry Cavill to be Superman after Man of Steel, despite my quibbles with the movie Man of Steel. Um, I think Henry Cavill had the potential to be the best Superman we had so far, but unfortunately, he didn't got to be, and it's just incredible sad that with I mean this is a good example the DCU being a mess. Like they completely sidelined the biggest character that is known to man for superhero Sandra, Superman, and like he did not even get a chance to be in multiple solo films of his films. Like we only got one solo film for him for the last 10 years, and it's like he's only been in crossovers, and it's like ridiculous. So I'm excited that he's going to be the center of this, 8 or 10 year plan that James Gunn has. I'm just, right now I'm just a little cautious about it because,
Yeah.
you know,
I
what's gonna happen.
will I will acknowledge that, he's taken time to answer questions from fans on Twitter. So
Hmm.
that's that tells me that he's taking time to, listen to the fans. And I think
Yes,
that's what, Warner Bros. Needs to start doing is simply listening to the fans. I
yes,
understand that, there's other things that go into play in making those kinds of decisions and with characters and how to casting and developing characters. But your main priority is the fans because they're the ones that are putting their time in their day to watch your content. And if you don't have fans, then obviously as a studio you're not going to do well and you won't be making money. um
right, right.
and of course with Wonder Woman 3 not coming through, it's just that's disappointing as well. And then as we've talked about, she has I, she has apparently had filmed scenes for the upcoming Flash film in June and for Shazam. So
If those are even in the cut, like
right.
we really don't know. Like that's the thing. Like the Flash, I 100% think that's not going to be in the Flash movie. The Shazam could be, but yeah, like even that's like a little shaky right now because of what's going on, really. Um, yeah, like I guess so right now we're in 2023. We got
Mm-hmm.
four DC films, so like
Yeah.
as yeah, yes, you tested, which is crazy. So we got uh Shazam Fury of the Gods. Let me put up the release dates. Just give me a minute.
Yep.
Da,
Take your
da,
time.
da. Yeah, yeah. So taking my time. Okay. So upcoming film. So Shazam Fairy of the Gods is gonna be out in March 17, 2023. The
Okay.
Flash is gonna come out on June 16, 2023. And um then the Blue Beetle, that's going to be in August 18, 2023. And then our last DC film for this year is going to be, of course, Aquaman and the Lost
Mhm.
Kingdom. That's going to come out in December 25th,
Yep.
Christmas Day 2023. So, and I just want to give you this question, and many people has brought this up. Is
Mm-hmm.
all these four films dead on arrival? Like, when I mean dead on arrival for to you, Chris, is that um they're not going to perform well when they open. That each of these were going to be box office failures because of what's been going on in the news with the DC films. Like I mean, because we got like this new complete reboot of this universe, and then
Mhm.
how is these four films going to be like? Is like the question is like, is the Flash going to be the biggest important film for the new regime of the DC studios of Gunn and Safran's plans, or is it?
Um,
Isn't it? Like, or like how is is Blue Beetle is that part, or so? What's your opinion on that? Like how like important these four films are for this year? Really, like,
yeah, out of those four, I would say the key film will be The Flash.
right?
And I've had heard some, promising news regarding that film that it's gotten really good test scores with really good scores with screening.
Hmm.
Um, and apparently it's been reported that Ezra Miller has, gotten some, I would say, gotten some help from, his behavior, and that WB is considering keeping
Hmm.
him as the Flash. Um,
Which we have to talk because that's really weird.
right.
But continue.
Definitely, I do think that, he needs to be held accountable
Yeah,
for like with the allegations against him if he committed those things. I haven't really followed up on them, so I can't say that he did those things or he didn't, but definitely with the robbery, with the incident where he got arrested for robbery, he definitely needs to be held accountable, and it's clear that he has some serious issues. So I hope he's getting the help that he needs. Um, but with the Flash's film, it's going to explore the DC multiverse.
excuse me.
I'm
Hmm.
sure you saw first look at the costume with the Flash's suit and Supergirl and
Right.
Michael Keaton's Batman. So I think the future of DC, personally, me speaking, lies in this film, lies in the Flash.
Okay.
Especially
Okay.
with its storyline. I think the future of DC lies in that film. If it doesn't do well, then I don't know what DC will have in store next.
Okay. Okay. That's good. I 100 agreed what you say. I'm very happy to because I mean yeah because I mean the fact that out of those four films we got, the Flash has, you know, got to receive really good word of mouth from the studio. I mean, David Saflot say that it tested well, so we know that, and the fact they've been stuck around with, the Flash. I mean, it's, very apparent that this is a porn film, and also like recently, during this beginning of the month, like the merchandising for the Flash has been leaking, so
Hmm.
it does indicate that this movie is big. So I'm just curious how, like, is the Ezra Miller behavior, from last year, these last 2 years, like, is going to affect this movie's box office performance badly, like,
Yeah,
or is like people just going to know that and then this film's be fine. Like, that's my curiosity, but I don't know.
yeah, and it could be possible that a lot of people may not watch these films since they feel with all the rebooting, they feel like, oh, with these movies, the storyline's not gonna go anywhere, and that is definitely possible. But the only thing we can do at this point is, just try to have faith and trust that James Gunn and Peter Safran are doing the right thing. And I hope, right now, they're listening to the fans.
Yes, that's true. Uh, yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, because I mean, it's not that. For me, it's just keeping your promises. Like like of course we're gonna bring up Marvel, but like the reason that Marvel has been successful, I mean, the MCU, is like they
Hmm.
kept their promises.
Exactly.
With these films, like when of course, when Phase Four was announced. I mean, yes, the release dates of some Phase Four projects got like, yeah, got scuffled, but like we got all of them in the last 2 years, and so, but you got DC is like they have completely not have. kept their promises. Like we were supposed to
Mhm,
get a Batgirl movie, that didn't happen, of course.
mhm,
Um, what else? We didn't get a Cyborg movie, of course. We didn't even get a solo Bat Affleck film.
mhm.
We, so like I don't know, I don't think it's just like Gunn and Saffron. Like, let's see, the fans. My thing is, it's mostly you're keeping your promise to like you have this 10 or 8 year plan that they are saying they have, and are they gonna release it this month? Which I'm
Yeah, I
kind of
think so.
curious. You think so?
Yeah, he James Gunn has said that he'll release some of it this month. He hasn't specified a particular day, but
Okay.
at some point, this month, he'll release some of the projects they have lined up for the next 8 to 10 years.
Yeah. Okay. Um. All right. Well, I mean, I. I'm just curious what is going to be revealed. That's the thing. Okay. So we were talking about the Flash. What's going to happen with Shazam and Blue Beetle? Like y-
I Not much. I haven't heard much from a Blue Beetle, but what I can tell you from Shazam, is that um, it looks it looks like probably going to be some. I think Billy Batson will just be trying to like find his place as a hero, because now that he realizes he has special abilities and stuff like that, and his family and his adopted brothers and sisters
mhm,
do too. And
right.
it seems like based on the trailer, they'll be like kind of like going their own ways. So I mean,
Mhm,
that probably might tease like potential conflict between the brothers and sisters, because
yeah,
they have their own powers, and so they're going out doing their own thing.
that's true.
Now they're dealing
Um.
with these gods that are coming after them because of the magic that they possess, to which grants them their abilities.
Yeah. Um, it's not that I'm saying. Oh, sorry, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't specify like this. I'm asking you if like how is these films gonna perform? Like, do you think Sensei's gonna perform well when it's open? Like, that's my question.
I think so. I
You
think
think? So?
so.
Okay.
Yeah, because it did perform. The first one definitely performed well
Okay.
in the box office, and it was funny to be honest. So I
Yeah.
think we're gonna get that same tone and same energy come this next one. And it had been
Yeah.
pushed back a few times because it was actually supposed to be out on December 21st last year,
Yes.
but
Yep.
then it got pushed back because I think Aquaman, this upcoming one, it needed more time for um production, I think.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
what one
but yeah,
say.
so we've definitely been waiting for this upcoming Shazam film. So definitely fans are going to tune in. And
Okay.
I've definitely seen a couple of plot leaks, and based on the plot leaks that I've read, I think fans will enjoy this film.
Okay, that's cool. All right, that's really awesome. Yeah, I mean, if it's, I mean, is this film is going to be as good as the first one? Because I liked the first one, and you're right, it had really great humor, and I mean, I hope the word of mouth for this film does well. Yeah, I think it should perform. I just hope it doesn't get affected by this things that's gonna happen with
Right.
DC, but we'll see. And then I mentioned Blue Beetle, um, I let me check. Yeah, so Blue Beetle was initially gonna release in HBO Max, right? And then they changed it and make it now into a DC theatrical release.
Mhm.
So what's your opinion? Like, do you think this is gonna perform well? I mean, I I
I did. Well, actually, I didn't know about the HBO Max. That I didn't know that. Um,
yeah. Well,
I
yeah.
I'm not. I'm not too sure because like I'm not sure if even people are even familiar with the character because I know I wasn't. It wasn't until I started playing
Mm,
Injustice that I even knew. Until I started playing Injustice, I didn't even know who Blue Beetle was. I never even heard of Blue Beetle. Um,
that's true.
I think it definitely has the potential. Due
Hmm.
to like it's a Latino superhero Latino cast, so
Right.
it'll definitely reach a Latino audience, because they're seeing someone that looks like themselves represented in a positive light. So in terms of like representation, I think it can definitely do well.
Okay. Ah, that's nice. Yeah, so just to let people know about the Blue Beetle, this is the one that's Jamie Reyes. This is the version that you saw in Young Justice, the cartoon show that premiered
Hmm.
back in 2011, and this is also the version that you saw from Batman: Brave the Bold. Because there's multiple versions of Blue Beetle, this is the character. This is from the subsidiary comics called Charlton Comics. That's where Peacemaker came from, Judo Master, and this is where the Question came. Before DC got those characters for good in their universe. So, famously, Ted Kord was the modern version before Jamie became the new recent one for the new 52, or before the 52, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, you hit the right points, Chris. I mean, like because of like it's not like Marvel when Marvel released their unknown movies because the brand of Marvel was so strong. Like Guardians of the Galaxy is a good example of this. When no one knew. You and I didn't know about Guardians of the Galaxy until we saw the film and it was great and pushed those characters into A-list status. So I'm don't know if this is gonna reach a big number. It needs to be like it was like it's the best superhero movie of 2023 and like it makes big money, but we'll see.
Just
Um,
felt like DC was trying to compete with Marvel, like, and I felt like that was a mistake on their part.
mm,
I think DC needs to find its own way to reach its fans and do well with its projects instead of like trying to like do what Marvel was doing because Marvel, as you said,
mhm,
kept its promises and Marvel has allowed its characters to develop.
right.
However, there were a lot of people that were very critical of that didn't enjoy Phase 4 that much. They were
Right.
very critical of Phase 4, but other than that, Marvel has done a really good job of developing characters and letting each
Mhm,
character earn their way before teaming up in big movies like Avengers and now with Avengers King Dynasty and Secret
Secret
Wars
Wars.
coming soon, it's gonna be bigger than Infinity War and Endgame.
Yes, definitely. We're it was like, oh my god, it's gonna be a month. We're gonna see Ant-Man 3. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's gonna be that big. Yes, yeah. I can like agree with you with that. Will, Chris.
Mhm.
Oh my god. Oh my Marvel host Will.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agreed. I agreed with that statement. I if this will be is going to be our first start of the phases, without us knowing that, I'm very happy we could take that. Then just starting with Flash because I think the danger of using our legacy characters like our big ones like Batman or Superman, there's
yeah.
going to be a lot of expectation. Like you saw Man of Steel, like it was the start of the DCU,
Yep,
but
I
it did.
saw it today actually. I saw it
Hmm?
again today.
Oh, Man of
Oh,
Steel.
yeah, I saw it earlier. I watched it again earlier today and it was very bittersweet. I felt that energy I felt when I first saw it in theaters, and knowing that Cavill will no longer be wearing that cape, is definitely sad.
Hmm.
Um, but I am looking forward to seeing General Zod again in The Flash. I would like to see what his role in that film was going to be, and
Oh yes.
also
Um.
just to keep in mind that the Flash, it's going to take some elements from the Flashpoint comic series, but it won't exactly be Flashpoint. It's just going to be like a loose adaptation of it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's gonna be this. Yeah, I'm very curious how they're gonna adapt the storyline. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Um.
So
Yeah.
don't expect to see like Wonder Woman and Aquaman going to war. I don't think we'll see that. That's true.
No. No. I mean, they like they should have announced that if they're gonna include that. So I mean, I don't think they're gonna do that. Like, so yeah, I agree. But so yeah, Blue Beetle, and then of course Aquaman too. Now this one is where I'm like, I mean, 5 years ago, or yeah, 5 years or 6 years ago, 2018, Aquaman was released. It's
Hmm.
the DCU first and only film that crossed the 1 billion mark. You know, it made money, right? But
Right.
just like, because we know now that, well, apparently, Jason Momoa is going to be recast to another role in
Right.
this gun regime moving forward, which we don't know. I mean, people are expecting this Lobo, but we have not confirmed that yet, right?
Right. Right.
But then this film, just like The Flash, with Ezra's controversial behavior, we also have the Amber Heard situation because of the trial with Johnny Depp,
Yeah.
right?
I think she'll be in that film still, because I think before all of that stuff with Johnny Depp, I think I'm not. I think she had already filmed those scenes,
Uh huh.
and I had been hearing about, of course, fans signing petition to remove her from the film. So there hasn't been any confirmation that she'll be removed.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it looks like by the time we see it, she'll still be there.
Yeah. Right now we don't know what's yeah. Like, did Warner Bros. Put? I mean, I don't know what Warner Bros. Did. During this process, like did it cut out her role, or like the role was small? Like, we really don't know what's going on. But like, I'm bringing that up because I don't know if that's going to affect the box office for Aquaman. You know, like
Right.
do you think this is going to perform as big as the last film, or you think it's going to be a significant drop? Like, I, because like it's going to release in December, right? Like, like Avatar, the way the water is performing so well
Right.
now.
Right.
It's like, is that movie going to do it for this year, or is going to be a huge flop? Like,
Well,
what's
it'll have no choice but to perform well in the box office.
yeah.
Definitely, if we happen to see Amber Heard in the film, definitely a lot of fans will be, pretty pissed.
Hmm.
But that film was supposed to be out last year,
I mean,
but it got
um,
pushed to this year's Christmas holiday. So with this film we had been waiting for quite a while, but there had been delay after delay after delay. So
two
now that it's
delays.
finally secure with the release date, yeah,
Yeah.
finally secure with the release date, I think it'll do all right. And as you said, the first one did really well. So I'm confident the second one will, since it had more time for production, and we'll see Ben Affleck's Batman and that film as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Right.
we could see a lot more from Aquaman in terms of his character development.
Yes. So, I mean, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, like, Right now, I'm looking at Wikipedia, but like, I mean, right now the Ben Affleck thing is still on, I guess. But like it, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Like if you're gonna reboot this franchise, but like we'll see. The release date. So it had two release dates. Of course, it was supposed to come out on December 16th, 2022. Of course, they got moved. The next move was March 17th, originally, but then of course Sam took over that because Warner Bros. Didn't have any more money for last year, 2022. So they pretty much pushed those films in 2023, and so like the last so far this is our stay release date is December 25th. So and that's where I'm also gonna say, like, is Warner Bros. Gonna have money to make the marketing for all these films do so well? Like, I mean, like
Actually,
last year.
the Flash,
Oh no,
it's
the
the
Flash.
first trailer for his film, huh?
Oh no, no, you were saying something. Go ahead.
So, the first, official trailer for the Flash, it's supposed to air during the Super Bowl, so hopefully
Mm,
that will generate a lot of
right.
buzz. I'm definitely not expecting to see the trailer for Aquaman anytime soon. We probably won't see it until, I assume, maybe the spring of this year, or maybe in the fall, since it's during the Christmas holiday, and we just started with the new year. So I say, this year is going to be
Mm-hmm.
very huge DC films. So these four DC films, they have to do well. Because if these four films don't do well, then I don't think DC has a bright future if after that. So we have to bank on these four films.
Uh, you know, and also like we also have to know sometimes these studios release their trailers in their movies, so I don't know if it's going to release during the Flash or the Blue Beetles release date. So, but my bet is they're gonna probably release the Aquaman trailer during Blue Beetles, like August release date,
Right.
because the next movie after Blue Beetle is Aquaman. So I think
Right.
that's where I think it could release, but we'll see. You know, so that's a good point.
Um,
But yeah, so oh, what are you gonna say?
yeah, I was gonna say, where are we at with Green Lantern? Because we haven't seen we haven't seen him, in this universe yet. I know we had the one with Ryan Reynolds, but we all know that was so awful. That was so bad. Uh,
I,
and I know and I know apparently there's going to be a Green Lantern series, right? James Gunn was working on.
well, yeah, so um, what I was gonna say, like, this was the Green Lantern Corps was initially the Grand Lantern thing, and
Hmm.
then recently they announced that John Stewart was going to be the main focus, but now uh, Gunn is taking over that, and then he just announced recently that Green Lantern is going to be a major part in this new film slate that he has, right?
Hmm.
So, um, I I mean, right now that's just been quiet because we don't know what's going to happen with Green Lantern, honestly. So initially, before this year, it was supposed to be a HBO Max series, but then
Okay.
last year it got completely scrapped because of the Dave Zaslav thing. This just the whole Discovery thing changed everything with the DC stuff. So like that's no longer a thing, and then recently, like briefly, it was like an asshole. They want to focus on Jon Stewart, and then uh, it's just a mess right now. So it's just like we don't know what they're doing in Green Lantern, you know?
Yeah, so that's why, these four films are going to say a lot about the DC universe, and
Yes.
we are going to look at how these four films do before. they make any more like big pushes, and
Yeah.
really, and I'm gonna again, I'm gonna try to have faith in Peter Safran and James Gunn since he's already directed the Suicide Squad, and he has his experience with Marvel.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
I wonder, if we're gonna get anything regarding the Suicide Squad. If there's going to be a third one,
Mm,
we're going to
yeah.
go with that. So yeah, it's definitely still a lot of questions.
Yeah. So it's a good point you brought up the Suicide Squad. Also, we know we're getting recasting. The
Hmm.
question a lot of people bring up, and especially in the video you sent me, and this is something I'm kind of curious. Are we keeping? Is Gunn gonna keep his stuff, like um for the reboot? Like we're gonna keep Peacemaker. We're gonna keep some of the Suicide Squad that he handled. Yeah, as you mentioned, the Suicide Squad of 2021, and then we're going from there. Like, do you see the idea of like, or no, no, or like we're just gonna recast completely?
No, no,
And
I don't want recasting with the Suicide Squad. I mean,
oh, really? Okay.
it was a lot of it was like new character. It was like in the 2021 version, new characters anyway. So why recast them? And
Hmm.
Margot Robbie's perfect at Harley Quinn. So, and I think James Good had been saying that, he had already said that Margot Robbie was going to return as Harley Quinn. So obviously she's a main priority in his plans. So I think it's
Okay.
best to keep the character, keep the cast and the characters as they are.
Okay. So then, okay. So I'm sort of happy to hear that, but then I just hope people are not gonna complain. I mean DC fans have been complaining this
Right,
past,
rightfully so.
so I mean this is nothing new. I mean I kind of expect that the Gun's gonna keep his people, keep his people safe from this new, like restructure of the DC stuff, where the stuff, what really it seems more like the Snyderverse, the stuff Snyder did is going to be completely wiped. Like that's the thing that I think we're seeing right now. Is like that is like that's where Wonderverse wants to get rid of this the Snyder stuff. You know,
Right. I
so
mean,
at where, oh, I'm sorry. Last thing, like this, with Gun, the Suicide Squad and the Peacemaker thing has been, well received by everyone, so it makes sense to probably
exactly.
keep them. So
Look, I know that, you know, they're not always going to make us happy. And I know there's going to be times where they'll make decisions that we don't necessarily agree with, and
yeah,
it's not going to be perfect all the time. However, we have, as DC fans, we have invested time and seeing and wanting to see these characters and wanting to see these storylines play out, and we're
hmm,
just tired of all these rebooting and just these makeovers with the characters and the storylines because their projects haven't done well. And so yeah, we're at this point, we are trying our best to be patient, but DC has made it hard for us to be patient. So yeah, so James Gunn and Peter Safran, we know that you're not always gonna make us happy, but with everything that's been going on, yeah, we're gonna ask questions, and we're gonna be persistent, in, holding you got we're gonna be persistent and holding the studio to a high standard, and holding the studio to make sure that they develop the characters the way they should, and just get these plans and storylines in place.
yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's very difficult, and I don't like the idea that they're talking to the internet about these plans because, like, I think one of the flaws right now I'm seeing. I mean, if I mean, Gunn's been very professional about this, but like, I mean, Feige is not talking about like all of this in the internet. Like he doesn't have a Twitter account. And that's one of the things I'm a little concerned. Just Gunn, just talking to these fans is not a good way to start with because it's like it's better to keep these things behind the scenes, and then when we get the announcements of these new phase of DC films, then that's good. But like I don't like I and then it's also to talk about the 10 to 8 year plan thing is a little concerning. Like I mean, it's gonna be just 2 years, right? Like because I don't know how long Gunn has, with his contract with Warner Brothers. So like it's only gonna be 3 years, and then if that's successful, they can probably renew it, and that's where we get the 8 year, 10 year plan. But
Right, right.
but yeah, so yeah, so we're getting the Superman, this new Superman thing. Where is Batman gonna fit in this? Like, that
Honestly, I'm not sure because with Superman, what James Gunn is working on is to not just have like a younger version of the character, but delve more into his early years when he worked at the Daily Planet, uh,
yeah,
before he even meets anyone else from the DC universe. So I'm not sure where Batman is going to fit, but just like Superman, Batman definitely has to be a priority. And I'm most
uh,
likely, I think James Gunn will be going with the younger version of Batman too.
oof. Okay, so I'm very surprised you brought Superman, but I was expecting you were saying like because we have the Robert Pattinson Batman going on, it's weird we're gonna get another Batman during this time. Like,
Yeah,
because
but
we,
the thing is, Robert Pattinson's Batman is in like another, he's in a whole different DC universe, and I had been hearing rumors that, oh, James Gunn was trying to bring Robert Pattinson's Batman into his DC universe, and James Gunn, he shut that down. He was like, no, that's not happening. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, where, like, I guess right now because we don't know, like, are we gonna get another solo Batman movie in this new film slate, or like, I mean, I don't know.
I'm not
It's
sure
like,
about that either. I don't know.
yeah, so that's just like we'll see. I mean, because right now, I mean, because we just got a new Batman movie last year and it did well.
Oh, oh, yeah, it did really well.
So like, I mean, and we're getting the Penguin spinoff,
Yep.
so that's moving forward. So like,
We'll
you know,
begin filming
just
uh,
February, I think.
next month. Yeah.
Yep,
So
this February. So yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah.
probably won't see that series until what, maybe
20
2024, 2025.
2025.
It
Yeah.
usually take about 5, 6 months of filming.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, 5 months. Could be in the beginning. We'll probably see it in the fall of 2023. It makes sense. So,
Right, right. And the Joker's second film, again, and not in the Gun universe, but
right.
that'll be out in 20 next year, 2024, and um they're filming as we speak.
Mhm.
I think they started filming not too long before the Christmas holiday. So
Yeah. So let me check that because it's the Joker. Uh, 2019. So yeah, the sequel is scheduled for October 4th, 2024. I think yeah, the filming just began on December 10th, 2022. So
oh, okay. Okay.
yeah, so not long. So now, so that's the question because we're getting these Elseworlds, as you say, Chris, the Elseworld films of the Joker and then the Batman. Like, so if the DC new like the new DC interconnected universe does not perform as well as I think the Steel is thinking, it where these movies, the Batman and its spin-off shows slash its sequels coming soon, or the Joker, the second Joker performs as well as like this predecessors. What's gonna happen with DC if this new interconnected plan is not gonna work? Like, like,
We'll have to go through another intervention, or just like pull the plug at this point, because
yes,
we've had these film flops, interventions, and then all these pushbacks with the upcoming films.
yeah,
So if these four films don't do well, and then I think it'll be time to pull. We'll have to restart all over again, or just maybe pull the plug. But I
yeah,
think with Batman and Joker, with their solo films, I think they'll be safe because Joker
okay,
did really well. Joker did really well. The
yeah,
Batman released this year did really well. So I think that universe will be totally fine.
yeah,
But with this new DC management with James Gunn and Safran, these four films are really going to decide DC's fate, in my opinion.
okay, okay, okay. Because yeah, a lot of pressure on these four films. Yeah. I'm very curious. I agree that these four films are the faith to DC films, and if they perform as good, for this year, then I think we should be fine. But if not, then we're in trouble. So yeah. Man, what? It's kind of crazy from last year and this year. DC is just all over the map, and it just shows how ridiculous these. I mean, it's ridiculous how Warner Bros. Are just a mess of a studio.
Mhm.
S-
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
We won't see Black Adam anytime soon, and that's great. And that's crazy.
Yes, that's yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, it's been just long confirmed because of the box office of Black Adam. Like, it was not mm, gonna come back and get a sequel. I mean, I mean, the movie didn't perform as big as I think they were hoping. It didn't, you know,
Right, right,
cover
right.
its budget back. So I think it's not gonna come back. I mean, The Rock is not gonna come back. So fortunately, then it just leads to the question, like, now that the Black Adam is not gonna have a solo sequel, like, you think the Shazam team gonna be able to use him for the third Shazam film if that even comes into fruition, if the second sequel does well?
Honestly, I hope so, and
Uh-huh.
it all depends on how Shazam 2 does in the box office. And
Yeah,
fans have definitely been wanting to see Black Adam, Superman, and Shazam all in the same film because obviously they encounter each other like in the animation series and in the comics. So there's no way you can have here those three guys and not
yeah,
have them alongside one another in the same universe.
yeah, yeah. I agree. Yeah. So yeah, but I think this would be a good time to like just wrap things up. Let's discuss our opinions on 2022 DC. I hope you have time, Chris, for that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, let's discuss that real quick.
yeah. So as we discussed with the future of DC and all of what we were hearing and what's our opinions on 2023, do you think 2022 was a good year for DC despite some of the crazy things that happened towards the end of the year? Like, was it better than 2021?
Um, yeah, I don't. Hmm. I would say in terms of you know things are gonna now things are gonna change. I would say 2022 was a better year. Definitely that surprise appearance from Henry Cavill in a Black Adam definitely gave fans, and especially myself, some hope.
Hmm.
Although we'll never, unfortunately, we won't see him again as Superman. I definitely have more faith that 2023 will be the year for DC. But I would say 2022 was a better year for DC in terms of teasing that things are going to change, and we're gonna do better.
Okay. So, I agreed. I think 22 was a better year for DC. I mean, we got good shows. I mean, Doom Patrol was great. The half of season four. Um, the Superman and Lois season three was great. Season two, I'm sorry, season two, was
Right.
great. And then Peacemaker season one was really great. The beginning of 2022. The Batman is still my favorite of 2022, but it's still my number one favorite superhero film of 2022. None of the Marvel slash like the other DC 2022 films really came close. I mean, Black Panther came very close, but
Right.
unfortunately, it had some of its downs. Unfortunately, so I think that I think 2022 was the year for
Yeah.
DC in general,
Yeah.
than Marvel.
But I would like Marvel to be more uh out there, gonna be more dark with their storylines and not lean too much into comedy. I mean, I know it's on Disney, so it's kids and stuff,
Hmm.
but
Yeah. I mean, I mean, we got a couple. We have a couple of good ones for Marvel this year. I mean, we got, of
Mhm.
course, Ant-Man 3, Guardians Family 3, which that looks great. Spider-Verse is coming back, so
I think Ant-Man, Quantumania, and Guardians, definitely I think those films will be dark, and I think someone said Guardians 3 was dark, something like that.
hmm, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm very curious, where we're gonna head, but this I mean, this year is gonna be Phase 5 for Marvel Studios, so I'm very excited. So yeah, fresh
Yeah,
start. So
yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Should be
yeah,
fun.
so yeah, I agree, and I'm looking forward
It's
for
gonna be
these
a
four.
good year for superhero films, though.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, was it this year? I think this year is gonna be like superhero films. Let me check. Box list of American superhero films. So let me look at 2022, 2023. Sorry. So right now for 2023, we're gonna have. Hold on. 2023 is. Uh, oh, okay. They did not separate these movies for DC and Marvel. Oh my god. So okay, so three Marvel movies, so three, and then Spider Verse and Craven. That's five, and then we got the four DC films. So six, seven, eight, nine. So we got nine superhero films this year for 2023. So
Okay, all right.
yes, so like that's like very big for this year. So yeah, we got plenty to and besides the TV stuff, which we haven't discussed, but like I think this year is going to be a big one for superhero films than 2022.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. Absolutely, that's why I was waiting for this year to come. So it'll be fun.
Yes, me too. Oh, I was waiting for Cross the Spider Verse the most.
Oh yeah,
So
you definitely will see that film together because I know you've been looking to see that.
Oh yeah, I mean I love Spider-Verse, the first one, so I'm pretty excited. What's your most excited for 2023? Mine's is Spider-Verse. What's yours? I'm curious.
Um, yeah, I actually have a few. Mine is The Flash, Shazam,
Hmm.
Blue Beetle, Aquaman. Those four.
Oh wow,
It'll be
okay.
cool. Definitely the Marvels. That'll be cool to see. Definitely excited to see more of Monica Rambeau, Captain
Yes.
Marvel, and Mrs. Marvel.
Yep.
Um, Looks like I guess like they're gonna go to war with all different galaxies. That'll be exciting. Definitely been looking forward to seeing Craven the Hunter. Um,
Really.
I like definitely I like Aaron Taylor Johnson as Craven. I think he's the perfect guy for that character. Um, and hopefully we can hear some more stuff on Spider-Man 4 with
Yeah.
Tom Holland um and see if Sony will ever greenlight the fourth film because we all know the third film was, awesome.
We'll see. I mean, it's been in limbo. I mean, it's. I mean, the last film did very well, but it's contracts with these actors, so you need to
Right.
wait impatiently. That's also where we're gonna fit Spider-Man with this, this multiverse saga. So I mean, that's also the issue. Excuse me, the issue with putting Spider-Man again, the fourth movie.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm very curious about that. Yeah, I mean, Craven for me is like low excitement. Like it's in my bottom list. Like I don't know. Like I mean, I agree with you. I mean, Enter Justin, great actor. I like him. He's a great kick-ass. I didn't mind his portrayal of Quicksilver in Age of Ultron. Um, but I mean, it's Sony. They're a weird attempt of making a shared universe of these spire villains, and it's just like it's just failing. I mean, last year none of us saw Morbius, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't.
or this with something else.
Yeah. Oh my god. Thank goodness we didn't see that one. Oh my god. I could have lost my mind. Um. Uh. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, I like the director that's doing Crave Doctor. He's made really good films, but I just don't have the confidence and excitement for the film. So yeah. So but um yeah, but you mentioned the Marvels. Excited. I mean, I'm not like, a huge fan of the first film, but I don't hate it like some people are. But
Right.
I really like Monica Rambeau from One Division, so I'm excited to see her, and also I'm excited to see Miss Marvel because I liked her show from last year. So we'll see if
Yeah,
it's
we'll see what happens. Definitely.
yeah. All right, Chris. Is there anything else to discuss? I think we're pretty good. I think.
Yeah, definitely. For our next uh for our next podcast, I definitely want to keep discussing DC and definitely go talk and we briefly talked about it today and talk a little more about what the Phase 5 with Marvel and
Oh,
definitely
okay. Hey,
and
if you want to do a face fight discussion, I'm excited to do that. Do like our excitement of our face fight movies and have that. Like, I'm excited to do that. So, you know,
okay.
if you want to do that, and
Yeah, I
let me
would love
know.
I would love to do that. Um
All right. Yeah. All right. Well,
I would love to meet co-host Will at some point too, whenever he's available.
yes. Yeah, because next week me and Will are gonna do the Ben Affleck Daredevil podcast. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So yeah. Um, because yeah, well, I'll discuss you after this podcast how the
Okay.
schedule is going to be for us. So, but yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So, but anyway, thank you, Chris, for joining me for
Thank you for
this.
having me.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so excited to have another host and discuss more DC stuff. And yeah, I'm excited for 2023 now.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So
Yeah, so think about it for joining me today. This has been a great pleasure discussing DC films. Finally, oh, oh my God. So of course, everyone, thank you for joining this podcast. Me and Chris will be back again, for a maybe DC Plus talk or Marvel Plus talk. We don't know, but just watch out in next couple weeks. Have a good weekend. Have a good night. Bye.
All right, have a good night.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.